Oh, hey, welcome to another reading vlog. I have been in the mood for some mysteries recently, and the audiobooks coming in from my library recently have been in my favor to help me with this mood and help me read some books that I've been super excited to read. So, I'm going to go ahead and start this vlog. I think that this one might be one that I'm actually able to finish pretty quickly because there are a few books that would love to do for this vlog that I'm super excited to get to and might prioritize over some others, but we'll see how things go. But I did want to start this vlog because I am halfway through the first book that I'm reading for this vlog. That is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano, and I've been excited about this one for a while. It's been on my radar for quite a bit because people have been so excited about this one, and it's on so many people's favorite lists from last year or the year before, and the second book has been super beloved as well, and so I've been really excited about this one. And as I said, I'm halfway through. I'm loving it. It's so much fun. Is it believable? Not really. You gotta suspend your disbelief, but like, if you just want to have fun and have someone go through just a crazy set of scenarios that just kind of snowball out of control to a ridiculous degree, uh, then this could be a fun one for you. Like, you don't necessarily have to believe that a reasonable character or a reasonable person would make these decisions, right? It's entertainment. And so I don't always necessarily judge my books on how reasonable the decisions the characters actually make. I mean, sometimes I'm inconsistent about this. Sometimes at mysteries I'm like, there's no way this would happen. No character would be that stupid to make those kinds of decisions. So sometimes it does bother me, and so I'm a little inconsistent about this. But for this one, it is definitely not bothering me, and part of it too is just because it's so funny. I personally really love the humor in this one. I think our main character is just, it's hilarious to be in her head. She is a struggling single mom. Her ex-husband now has another. Are they actually married? I'm pretty sure they're married. Her ex-husband now has a new wife. They share two kids who are pretty young, and so she's trying to figure out just how to balance everything in her life, being a mom to these two kids most of the time, and a poor relationship with her ex-husband, but she's trying to co-parent for the sake of her kids, but it's really not easy. She's behind on so many bills, and she's also behind on writing her latest book, and so things are just kind of spiraling a bit out of control for her. And she's meeting her editor and is talking about her latest murder mystery novel that she's attempting to write but having a bunch of writer's block with. And the way the conversation happens, someone who overhears it thinks that our main character is actually a hit woman for hire and leaves her a note that she wants to pay a bunch of money to have her husband killed. And the money is looking pretty good to our main character. And so just through circumstances and through her starting to investigate who this person is and try to figure out whether or not she really could feel comfortable doing that for the money, and what the money could mean for her as far as being able to take care of a bunch of bills that are unpaid. She really wants her ex-husband is fighting for custody of the kids. She wants to be able to fight back against that. So just things are starting to spiral such that, she's really considering it. And through circumstances of her just starting to even consider the idea, things kind of snowball. And I don't want to talk about kind of the details of how things start to snowball. I think that's part of the fun of reading it. But just, she's super snarky, which I just kind of enjoy reading from characters who are super snarky. And it's just been fun. It's just been fun. It's just been a wild ride. It's pretty fast paced and just one thing after another of just things going wrong and her needing to reevaluate her situation and figure out how she can just get through. And yeah, it's been fun. So I just wanted to go ahead and introduce this vlog, or start it and introduce my initial thoughts halfway through this book, and I will come back once I am either further in or maybe have finished this book. I've read it pretty quickly. The first half, I think I literally started it, was it yesterday evening? Like pretty late into the evening, early night, and I'm already halfway through. It's a pretty short audiobook too. It's a 10-hour audiobook. The narrator is fantastic as well, so that's also fun. So yeah, I will check in later. So it's a couple of days later, and I'm done with Finlay Donovan is Killing It. Absolutely loved this one. Just so much fun, so ridiculous. I mean, I don't really have much more to add from what I said previously. I am super intrigued by the hook that's at the end of the book to have you continue on to the next one. So I'm definitely very intrigued to continue. I for sure will. This was just such a blast. Like, don't think about it, just go into this to have a blast, and hopefully you will. And I'm actually halfway through my next book for this video. I just am listening to them back to back, and that is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This is another one that I have heard about for so long and am finally getting to. And this one, very similar vibes. Honestly, I'm in this mood, and so I figured I would just roll with it and keep going with this vibe. Also, the audiobook needs to be returned to the library soon, so there's also that. But yeah, I'm having so much fun with this one. Very similar vibes, except there's kind of a different kind of family element involved. So in Finlay Donovan is Killing It, it focuses quite a bit on her family dynamic in terms of her ex-husband, her 2 young kids. And in this one, you're following someone who's in her mid-20s, a little bit past her mid-20s. And she and her mom and her mom's 3 sisters are very close family, and they actually run a business together with weddings. So each of them kind of have different roles in, during the wedding day, and have different kind of areas of expertise, but they've come together to start a wedding business, and so people who want to hire them can kind of hire a suite of services that they each provide. So photography, flowers, catering, that kind of thing. And our main character is the photographer. She studied photography in school, and was excited to join her family business, and enjoys her job. There's some parts of it that aren't necessarily what she wants or enjoys, and kind of what she wanted to get out of going to school for photography, but she really enjoys being in business with her family, and her family being very close and very protective of her. They also want to look out for her and find her a partner. And so her mom goes onto a dating profile and sets up an account and kind of talks to someone as though she were her daughter, and then tells her, like, oh, by the way, you have this random date tonight. And so our main character is like, what? But ultimately goes on it. And it's just hilarious, and it's kind of funny. The whole vibe is just, again, comedic, fun, funny. I love the family dynamic here. I think it's fabulous, and I love her relationship with her aunties, and her aunties, their relationship with each other. It's just super fun and super funny, and yeah, so I'm having a great time with that. And there's some miscommunication with her mom trying to pose as her daughter. There's some miscommunication, in part because her mom's first language is not English, and so it just kind of sets up a scenario where her date kind of expects something different out of this date than she does, and when things go wrong, she scenarios kind of escalate, and he ends up dead through circumstances, and basically her trying to protect herself. And so she, when she can, she goes back to her mom and it's basically like, this is what happened. And her mom is immediately like, okay, we'll bring your aunties in. We'll take care. We'll fix this. We'll make sure this is okay. And it's them trying to figure out what to do with this body while working a wedding that they have coming up that weekend. It's just so funny. And it's again where just the absurd chain of reaction of different things, or chain of events of different things that just spiral and escalate and kind of one lead into the other, but it goes kind of beyond what what you could think of. It's just funny, and it's, you know, it's just a good time. It's just a good time. So I will keep listening. I'm a little more than halfway through, and so I will update once I'm done. But I wanted to go ahead and give this update, and I will talk to you later. So it is a day or two later, I think just one day later after checking in. So different day, same location, same sweater. It's fine. I did finish Dial A for Aunties last night. So much fun. So much fun. I had a great time with this one. Very similar feelings to Finley Donovan is killing it. Just, this was super entertaining. I love the cast of characters here. The circumstances just super wild and unbelievable, but if you're in the mood for something where you can just suspend your disbelief and just go for the ride of the story and just let the author take you for a little bit of a journey, then, and you're in the mood for just a cozy mystery, then super fun. Yeah, I would describe both of these as cozy, relatively cozy. Yeah. I mean, like, definitely some things happen. There's definitely action going on. There are definitely stakes, but it's mostly just fun and humor and vibes. But I had a great time with both of these. I think I liked Finley Donovan just a little bit more than Dial A for Aunties, but I had a great time with both of these. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap the vlog up here. I was gonna try to keep it at a cozy mystery theme. That's what the first two were. But I did pick this one up at a Little Free Library. I exchanged for a copy of An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I was just curious, and I read a short story of theirs and had a fun time with it. And so I wanted to try a full novel of theirs, and I had a really fun time with this one. Kind of a popcorn thriller, I think. Like, if you're just looking for a fun time, I think this is a good option. I think this is great for people who are trying to get into thrillers and mysteries too. I think this could be a good option. Not that I've read a ton. I definitely have so many more that I want to read. I definitely would not consider myself a well-read thriller mystery reader, but I just feel like their writing style is super easy to get into. The plots aren't that complex. I didn't really find the direction that it was heading surprising. Like, I think it was, I don't know, it wasn't surprising, but I still had a fun time getting there. And yeah, as I said, easy and fun writing style. You know, the characters were fine, and the setup is kind of a generic but fun setup. So you're following our main character, Jess, who is a makeup, does private client makeup, and, you know, will get people ready for an event by doing their makeup, and, you know, works through a company to do that. And, you know, a little strapped for cash. She's helping her parents out. So she's a little tight for cash, and one of her clients was supposed to go in for this kind of psychology professor's project, essentially answer some questions about morality, and, you know, in participating in part of this experiment was supposed to get paid for that. And she couldn't go or didn't want to go, and so Jess kind of goes in her place. And then, you know, she's answering questions for this professor. At first she doesn't meet the professor, but she's getting feedback on her answers. And at one point is asked to actually meet the professor in person, and the professor asks her if she would like to continue on, but in a more intensive way and in an in-person kind of live scenario situation, but the pay would be more. And so Jess says, okay, sure, and starts to get in a little bit deeper into the situation than she really anticipated, and doesn't really know if she can actually fully trust this professor and what this professor is doing. And is starting to get contacted, or is contacting and getting information from people who are in the professor's circle, who are trying to warn her or give her some information that makes her suspicious of the professor's intentions. So you're mostly following Jess, but there is actually the professor's perspective as well, written in second person, which I think was an interesting choice, and actually I feel like worked really well for the novel. I think it worked well for what the perspective of the professor is supposed to bring here. It's supposed to be a little chilling. It's supposed to be a little, I don't know, it gives the creep factor that I feel like the authors wanted to provide for the professor to do it in second person. The narrators, dual narrators, one for each perspective. Julia Whelan narrates Jess's perspective, and she's phenomenal. And our narrator for the professor's second person perspective was also really, really good. And so would recommend the audiobook if you are interested in picking this one up. I thought it was a really fun audio experience, and I just had a good time with it. So I'm gonna wrap this one up here. There definitely will be more thrillers and mysteries to come, including a bunch more cozy mysteries. There are a handful more that I want to read, plus just a bunch of other thrillers that I'm excited to read. So I will be doing plenty more of these in the future, but I feel like just leaving it at a few and then hopefully being able to get this one out soon would be good. So thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more bookish content, and I will link my Instagram down below, as well as more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.